Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Tweedy back again in another video. And I know I haven't been around, and I'll explain that probably in a future video, but today I want to talk about the state of Mortal Kombat 1. And there's been a lot of videos of people talking about, Mortal Kombat 1's dead, Mortal Kombat 1's a failure, Mortal Kombat 1's this and that. And a big thing they point to, let me see if I can pull this up for y'all. So a big thing they point to is, okay, so let me pull it up. Okay, so we have my PC here, about to show y'all. So you see the Mortal Kombat 1 numbers on Twitch. Right now it's sitting at 131 viewers, which is very weak right now, very weak. Even for a fighting game, it's, well, I don't want to say that because obviously like most fighting games are pretty dead. But compared to like the big fighting games that people typically associate Mortal Kombat with, that's pretty dead, right? Like Tekken's got like thousands. Street Fighter, Street Fighter actually kind of dips, but it does get into the thousands like every day, stuff like that. But here's the thing about MK, like it's always like this. I feel like shortly after release it kind of dips, like on Twitch and on like Steam and stuff, because that's where the more hardcore like viewers and gamers are. But you see on YouTube, it's still pretty big. Like, let's go look at two of the bigger like YouTubers that cross over into the casuals for MK. So we got Waz here. He's still doing good. He's still doing good. And then we got Mike Trelinsky still doing good. Really good actually. Dang, I'm not subbed to Mike. I'm a fraud. Let's go look up like who is a like MK YouTuber, like True Underdog Gaming. Let's see how he's doing on YouTube. I am subscribed to True Underdog. A lot of people don't like True Underdog, but here's why I like True Underdog. So there's a guy named Shinless who's a Fusion player on MK11, and he won a competition for 1K. It was a combo video competition. Winner gets 1K. True Underdog Gaming did not put up the 1K, but he promoted the competition. And the guy who put up the 1K flaked out. And True Underdog was like, all right, I'll give you 1K out of my pocket. I feel like that was kind of a cool move, kind of a gangster move. So even though a lot of people don't like his videos, that made me follow him. I was like, that was a cool move by him. But yeah, that's why I like him. But yeah, he's still doing really good on YouTube. Like all like the MK YouTubers are still doing really good. And YouTube is kind of like the casual platform, you know what I mean? And that's the thing about NRS games is they always, the first month or two, they start out strong in like the competitive aspect. A lot of people on PC, a lot of people on Twitch, a lot of people watching tournaments, and then they die off. Obviously though, we stuck around on MK11 for so long, so we hoped that this would be the game where we retain a lot more hardcore players. But with this game, unfortunately, we did not retain any. If anything, we lost some of those hardcore players we had with MK11. I would argue the scene is not smaller than it was on MK11 after the first, because people try to tell me, they're like, oh, MK11 lived for years, MKX lived for years. You can't tell me that because I was there. It was the same type of deal. It was the first 2 or 3 months strong, and then it died off. You know, it went down to small numbers on PC, small numbers on Twitch, big numbers still on YouTube, you know, and that's basically what it was. You know, people capped off at about 100 or a couple hundred viewers on Twitch. If Ninja or Sonic or maybe Foxy went live, you would see a little bit more than that, and that was about it. It's the same old story. And I think the big problem that hurt us from retaining newer players, like I feel like Tekken's retaining a lot of newer players. We're only a month in on Tekken, so it remains to be seen. But I feel like that game will retain a lot more newer players. And I feel like with MK, like the problem, at least what I think, and I was a casual player for a long time on fighting games, and I am with like Tekken and stuff, so I feel like I can kind of give like a good idea of why. So, for example, when you get on MK, what are you doing, right? As a casual, you do like the story, right? You do the story mode. Cool. So what do you play beyond the story? You play Invasions, which is like this weird mobile game mode. If you like Invasions, that's fine. I think it's trash. I think it's some trash mobile game mode that was a big L. It was kind of advertised as this like RPG where you go across the realms and stuff. And it's just like some weird mobile game, basically. So you have that, and then you have like a ranked match, right? You have ranked match because they didn't have lobbies. They didn't have Tekken, the way Tekken works is, and I'm gonna do my Tekken review video soon as well, is it has about 5 times the ranks as MK, like 5 times the ranks. So there's way more like little dopamine hits, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I ranked up to green 1, green 2, green 3. You know what I mean? Whereas MK, it's like 7 or 8 ranks, you know? And also, like, when you get really late into the season, like, just about anyone can get to, like, Demigod, God, Elder God. Whereas, like, to touch, like, the God ranks in Tekken, you gotta be insane. So there's kind of like a mountain to climb there without going and finding, like, Twitter threads of, like, tournaments, you know what I mean? And then there's also character-based rankings. There's, just the whole system's better. There's a crazy lobby system that really feels, like, alive and stuff. On this game, it's just, like, ranked, player match, King of the Hill, which King of the Hill's been wonky since release, and then private match, and that's it. You know what I mean? It feels very like I just stepped into like a 2006 like online game, like first PS3, Xbox 360 online game, you know what I mean? And then ranked has been a mess since release. Like the first, like whenever the game came out, there were those black screens where you would get stuck in a black screen after a ranked match, and it would happen all the time, like half your ranked matches. And people were like, oh, it's just because it's in pre-release. Because remember, they did like that whole like WB, like, oh, you get the game early if you pay us extra. And people were like, oh, it's just because of pre-release. But no, it wasn't. It lasted for weeks. And the thing about multiplayer games is like, multiplayer games are competing for like people's like time, you know, their eyes, their attention. So like, you got games like Fortnite, Helldivers, like whatever, and your game releases and it's black screening half the games. Lil Billy is not going to stay on the game and potentially, like, for example, in Coliseum, there's this kid that's been doing good. His name's Online Kale, and he's been placing. He's a kid, and like but he goes hard because his dad like was a tournament player, got him into it, stuff like that. You know, we need like all these kids to get into the game, like Online Kale, to grow the scene, next generation type of deal. But why would little Billy, who doesn't have a dad who like really got him in the tournament, stick with the game when the only mode online is ranked, basically, and it black screens half the time? You know what I mean? So NRS really dropped the ball there. NRS doesn't promote tournaments at all. Like Street Fighter, Tekken, they promote tournaments. Tekken, Bandai will do a whole announcement stream and just talk about Tekken World Tour. WB and NRS would never do that. They would never do that. They would never do that. The way that we found out about Pro Comp was like, Too Easy was posting information he heard on like a Twitter thread. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, like people don't even have a chance to know. MK11 ESL, which if y'all don't know, MK11 ESL, you go to like a little menu like this, and they still run them for MK11. They still run them for Tekken 7 because ESL hasn't integrated their system into PS5. And that still gets decent numbers, signups, like hundreds for NA, hundreds for EU, for MK11. And that's because people see them, you know? Casuals, they get on the game, and they see in their event hub, oh, MK11 tournament, they sign up, boom. Like, if NRS and WB would do a bit more to promote tournaments and stuff, even if it was just Pro Comp, or if it was like the most like established online tournaments like Aquaman Destroyer, Shiroryu Sunday, stuff like that, and the list goes on, like our scene would grow a lot, I feel like, because if you're like Lil Billy, Lil Jimmy, like what are you doing on this game? You do story mode, you see invasions, and you're like, why would I play this over like Elden Ring? And then you get on this game and it's like, or you get on online, it's like just ranked, and it was black screen in the first month, and then there was literally a 3-month period where you would get into the match and it would kick you out. The desync issue, that's another thing I need to get to. So after the black screens got fixed, we had about a month where it was decent, but it was still just ranked match, so it was still bad, but whatever, you know, ranked match worked. And then ranked match started not work again for like 3 months, you know, like the desync issue. You would get on ranked, it would desync, stuff like that. So like, it's so disappointing that this game did not retain more new players, you know, like it sucks, but I felt like it was never given a chance because of the poor handling of NRS and WB, you know. You gotta have a reason for people to stay on the game, you know? Like, take Helldivers, for example. Helldivers, I've been playing that a lot. That game has a lot of problems. A lot of problems. I'm talking, like, more than MK1 does. But, like, number one, it's co-op, so you play it with the boys. And number two, like, there's stuff to do, like, all the time on there. I feel like there's stuff to do all the time. Whereas on MK, it's like rank match, that's it. Rank match, or you might network with a friend. That's about it. And rank match for like 4 months. So the game came out in what, September? So let's do the math. So the first like few weeks, black screens. And then like 3 months, 2 to 3 months were desync issues. So for like 60, 70, maybe even 80% of the game's life, the one real mode you can play online without like networking with people was a mess. So it's no surprise to me that, you know, MK1 was a failure at retaining new players. Now people want to say like it was a failure overall. Like I said, I was there for the other games. It was the same story. MK1 is still huge on YouTube. You know, and people want to be like, oh, the sales are less than MK11. Yeah, but MK11 was on PS4, right? Like, a lot of people are still on PS4 only. Still on Xbox One only. Like, if you look at the sales of Street Fighter 6 and Tekken, it's about in line with those, you know what I mean? So, sales-wise, it's doing good. YouTube-wise, it's doing good. It's just like, you know, MK is fun to play at a competitive level. That's why a lot of us have stuck with it for a long time. It's fun to play MK at a competitive level. But this game wasn't given a chance. It wasn't really given a chance. But it is what it is. Here's the thing. I like the game. I like MK1. I'm going to stick with it. I haven't really played the game in like 2 months. So I didn't want to talk about this at first, but I'll talk about it now. But I had, I don't know if you're allowed to say it on YouTube, but you know, like the big reason the world was shutting down. I had a long version of that, and I had a really bad infection in my leg. So that shut me down for like a month. And then this last month, I've just been kind of lazy, not gonna lie. I have been getting back into streaming, though, over at twitch.tv/TweedyMK. But now I'm back on the YouTube. Really looking forward. So tomorrow, actually, we have the Peacemaker Combat Cast. And then the day after that, we have Peacemaker. And we have crossplay. That's another thing that I forgot to mention, y'all. It didn't release with crossplay. Pretty much every game is releasing with crossplay this day. So that's another big L that's going to hurt us retaining our player base, you know what I mean? Like, it's another big L that NRS, you know, didn't come through with. But anyways, so better late than never, I suppose, especially for people like me that are sticking with the game. So we have crossplay Peacemaker, and we have a balance patch. We don't know how big the balance patch is going to be, but we know it's there because we saw a change to Quan Chi in the trailer. So we know a balance patch is coming. We just don't know the size. I hope it's big. I hope it's a big balance patch to shake things up, freshen up the game, stuff like that. But yeah, I will be uploading Peacemaker. I will be uploading like guides, like me playing the Elder God with them, stuff like that, and going over the balance patch changes and all that. And I appreciate everyone who shows up to this video. I know I've been off for a while, but you know, I'm back, and I appreciate everyone. Much love. Don't know if it's going to be daily uploads. I'm probably going to do more calculated uploads. But yeah, appreciate everyone. Hope everyone's been good, you know. Hope everyone's looking forward to stuff that's coming up. I am, things are better with me health-wise than they were, you know, last couple months. So I'm excited about that. And then also, I'm really excited about stuff coming up. You know, I'm a big gamer, as y'all know. And Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming up, along with, like, Peacemaker and all that. And then we got Elden Ring DLC in June, Dragon's Dogma 2, stuff like that. So I'm excited. Then around that time, we'll have Homelander, Ermac. So if you're a gamer, there's a lot of things to be excited about, and I am excited. And much love to everyone who supports me. And that's going to be it for the video. Later.